A time signature tells us two things. It tells us how many beats are in the bar, which is the top number, and it also tells us the note value of a beat, which is the bottom number. Okay, now so far up to this point, we played in 3 different time signatures. We've played in 2/4, which tells us there are 2 quarter note beats in the bar. We played in 3/4, which tells us there are 3 quarter note beats in the bar. And we've also played in 4/4, which tells us there are 4 quarter note beats in the bar. Okay, so each of these time signatures have had a 4 at the bottom. Okay, so the note value of the beat has always been a quarter note. Okay, so if I play a basic 8th note groove in 4/4, okay, so this groove, as the beats are quarter notes, I count the quarter notes, okay? So if I count the quarter notes when I play this groove, I count like this. So if I change the bottom number of this time signature to 8, that now tells us the note value of a beat is an 8th note. Okay, so how many 8th notes are in the bar? We obviously have 8. So now we're going to change the top number to 8 as well. Okay, so the top number being 8 tells us there are 8 beats in the bar. And the bottom number being 8 tells us the note value of a beat is an 8th note. So now I'm going to count the 8th notes. Okay, so if I play the groove again, but now I'm going to count the beats as 8th notes, I'll count like this. Okay, so the bottom number changing to 8 just means the beats are now 8th notes. Okay, so I'm counting the 8th notes. Okay, so mathematically, 4/4 and 8/8 are the same time signature. So why, when we play this groove, do we use the time signature 4/4 and not 8/8? And the reason is because when we play this groove, the natural pulse that as the player we feel, and also as the listener we feel, okay, so this is the pulse which we tap our foot along to and bop our head along to. So when we play the groove, we naturally feel the pulse as quarter notes, okay? So we feel this. Okay, we feel those quarter notes. We don't feel the 8th notes as the pulse, so we don't feel the groove like this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to keep the bottom number of a time signature as 8, but we're going to change the top number to 6. Okay, so now we've got 6 beats in the bar, and the note value of a beat is still an 8th note, so we're going to count the 8th notes. Okay, so we've got 6 8th note beats in the bar. We're going to play the same groove, but now obviously we can only fit 6 8th notes in the groove, so we're just going to play the first 6 8th notes of this groove, okay? So we got a bass on the first 8th note, and then we got a snare on the 3rd 8th note, and then a bass on the 5th 8th note. Okay, so let's play this groove now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if I play it again and count the 8th notes, I've got okay, now when you listen to that groove, what are you naturally feeling as the pulse? Are you feeling those 8th notes? Are you feeling this? You're not, are you? You're feeling the quarter note still. You're feeling this. Okay, so I'll play it again. Feel the quarter note pulse. Okay, so really that groove is played in the time signature 3/4. It's not 6/8. Okay, they're mathematically the same time signature, but it's important to define the beat as the natural pulse, okay, that we feel. It's the heartbeat of the music, okay? So the natural pulse of that groove, again, is the quarter note, that quarter note beat. So that's the bottom number that we use for the time signature. Okay, so now I'm going to evolve the groove again. Instead of playing a quarter note on the bass drum, on the first eighth note, and then a snare drum as a quarter note on the third eighth note, and then a bass drum as a quarter note on the fifth eighth note, I'm now going to play a bass drum as a dotted quarter note on the first eighth note, and I'm going to play a snare drum as a dotted quarter note on the fourth eighth note. Okay, so I'm playing 1, 4, still playing the 6/8 notes on the hi-hat. Let's hear how that groove sounds. Okay, so you see how the feel of that groove has completely changed. There's still 6/8 notes on the hi-hat, but just by shifting that bass and snare pattern, I've now highlighted the first eighth note and the fourth eighth note, okay, which gives the groove a completely different feel. Before I was playing the first eighth note, the third eighth note, and the fifth eighth note, which had that feel of 3/4, but now I'm playing just the first eighth note and the fourth eighth note. The groove, the feel of the groove has completely changed. And this is a 6/8 groove. Okay, so 6/8 has a completely different feel to the previous time signatures we've played. The 8 at the bottom really changes the feel. Okay, so play the groove again. We've got this. Okay, so if I play that alongside the 3/4 groove, okay, so we got this, I'll play 4 bars of each. Okay, so we've entered a new realm now. 6/8, completely different feel. Okay, now, when I play that 6/8 groove, what are you naturally feeling as the pulse? Are you feeling the eighth notes? So are you feeling this? Again, we're not, are we? We're feeling that bass and snare, the dotted quarter notes. Okay, so remember, dotted quarter note has a note value of 3/8 notes. Okay, so we're feeling that as the pulse, aren't we? When we hear that groove. So the bottom number of a time signature tells us the note value of a beat. So we've just seen that the note value of the groove we've just played there, of the beat, is a dotted quarter note. Okay, so how can we put that as a number at the bottom of a time signature? So obviously the reason we have a 4 at the bottom of a time signature when the note value of the beat is a quarter note is because when we have a fraction, a quarter, the bottom number is 4. So we put the 4 at the bottom. When the note value is an eighth note, okay, the bottom number of a fraction, an eighth, is an 8. So that's why we put an 8 at the bottom to tell us the note value of a beat is an eighth note. So how can we put a number there that tells us the note value is a dotted quarter note? There isn't a number for that, is there? Okay, which is why we keep the time signature for this feel as 6/8. Okay, so now we're going to change the definition of this time signature a little bit. Okay, so we said the top number tells us how many beats are in the bar. But how many beats are in this 6/8 groove that we're playing? How many beats do you feel? There's only two, isn't there? The dotted quarter note on the bass drum, the dotted quarter note on the snare drum. So there's only 2 beats. So that 6 at the top of the time signature 6/8 is telling us how many subdivided parts of the bar there are. There are 6 subdivided parts. The bottom number being 8 tells us those subdivided parts have a note value of an 8th note. So the time signature 6/8 tells us that the bar has been subdivided into 6 parts, and each of these subdivisions has a note value of an 8th note. Okay, so the bar has been divided into 6 8th notes. Okay, and these 6 8th notes are split into 2 beats of 3. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, the first 3 8th notes, which is the first beat. And then we got 4, 5, 6, the second 3 8th notes, which is the second beat. Okay, so remember, the beat, the note value of a beat is a dotted quarter note, which is the same note value as 3 8th notes. So we've got the first 3 8th notes as the first beat, and then the second 3 8th notes as the second beat, beat 2. So we got 1, 2, 3 for beat 1, 4, 5, 6 for beat 2. Okay, and this is what we call compound time. Okay, so compound time is when the beat is split into 3 parts, 3 equal parts. Okay, so we've got a dotted quarter note beat, and that is split into 3 8th notes. Okay, so each beat is split into 3 8th note parts. It's subdivided into 3 8th notes. This is what we call compound time. Okay, so before, when we played in the time signatures 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4, we had a quarter note beat, and that was split into 2 8th notes. Okay, so when we played in that time signature, okay, those time signatures with a 4 at the bottom, okay, we got 2 8th notes in each beat. Okay, every beat I play, there's 2 hi-hats, there's 2 8th notes. But when I play in compound time, the beat is a dotted quarter note, and for every dotted quarter note beat, there's 3 8th notes. Okay, so if I play in 2/4, I've got, and if I play in 6/8, I've got. Okay, so the time signatures 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4 are what we call simple time. So simple time is when the beat splits into 2 equal parts, and compound time is when the beat splits into 3 equal parts. Okay, so these are 2 types of meter. We've got a simple meter and a compound meter. All right, so all that means is just how the beat splits. In simple time, the beat splits into 2 equal parts. In compound time, the beat splits into 3 equal parts. And these 2 meters have a completely different feel because of the way the beat splits. Okay, so going forward, we're going to be using compound time, where the beat splits into 3 parts, into 3 8th notes. Okay, and we're also going to play, obviously, still in simple time as well, where the beat splits into 2 equal parts. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a basic understanding of compound time in this lesson, and then in the following lessons, we're going to use compound time. Okay, so your understanding will develop. Okay, so if you're not quite getting it now, you'll get it more and more as we go through the next few lessons. Okay, but just know compound time is when the dotted quarter note beat splits into 3 8th note parts. Okay, giving it a completely different feel to simple time, which is the type of time we've played in previously. Okay, with the time signatures 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. All right, let that sink in. Hope you understand. And we'll see you in the next lesson, where, like I said, your understanding will just get more and more, develop more and more, and you'll totally have it after we've completed the next few lessons. Okay, so let's dive into compound time. If you enjoyed this video, then please like it and subscribe to the channel, and also consider signing up to my online drum academy where we go through lessons on all drumming topics, songs from different eras and genres, and also grade pieces from initial to grade 8.